This week on NBA G League Takeover, history is made. There's a new steals record in the G and a new career high for Bronny James. Plus, Big Ja, yes, Jahlil Okafor joins us and sits down for an exclusive interview. And finally, we're breaking down the tape. CJ Watson talks Jonathan Kuminga and Yuki Kawamura. All that and more coming up on NBA G League Takeover.
This is NBA G League Takeover, sponsored by Kumho Tire.
Hello and welcome to NBA G League Takeover. I'm Mike Davis. If you love basketball and the NBA, well then you're in the right place. This is the show that explores all the news you need to know about the NBA G League and beyond. Let's bring in G League insider Gianna Hearn and NBA veteran CJ Watson. Good to see you guys. So right off the bat, let's announce the G League Player of the Week. The honor goes out to Brandon Williams of the Texas Legends, fresh off an unstoppable night where the two-way signee scored a season-high 45 points and 11 assists. The sharpshooter nailed 9 three-pointers on 70% shooting. Gianna, Williams is currently averaging 28.5 points per game. That's second in the league. It's a significant jump for him and his previous seasons in the G. What do you think has changed for Brandon Williams this year?
Well, I think he's just had the time and the experience that he's needed. His fourth season, he's already had over 20 games in the NBA, and his highest game in the NBA is 27 points. So we know that he can score. It's just, can he do it at a high volume consistently, and can he do it when he's up in the big leagues?
CJ, what do you like about this guy when you watch his game from the hardwood?
Just his confidence, just like Gianna said, he's a sharpshooter. I think you got to put him in the Splash Brother conversation when you make 9 threes. So I definitely think his confidence is there, and he's taking advantage of the opportunity right now.
Hey, 9 three-pointers, 70% shooting. It's a good look for Brandon Williams. So congratulations to him for being the Player of the Week. Now, from blocks to steals, yes, we're going to talk about a new guy, really an exciting prospect, Isaac Nojes. Yes, the Spanish guard with the Rip City remix is an international draft prospect making a name for himself. Up until a few days ago, the single game record for steals was 9, thanks to Charlie Brown. But Nojes made history, breaking a G League record, racking up 10 steals against the Santa Cruz Warriors. And check this stat line: 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 10 steals. So CJ, we've spoken about Dyson Daniels and the art of the steal before on this show, but please remind us, in order to grab 10 steals in a game, a player must have some sort of proclivity, as producer James would say, to taking a player's cookies. How insane is that stat line?
It's pretty crazy. Like I said, it's definitely impressive just to have that instinct to be aware and to have your hands ready and to get deflections and give your team another opportunity to have a possession of the ball. So it's definitely impressive to have that stat line. Yeah,
Nojes, a great game there. Gianna, tell us a little bit more about Nojes as a draft prospect and this game in particular.
Yeah, he's one of only 4 players currently on a G League roster that is draft eligible. So all the other guys that are draft eligible were playing with Team Ignite. So an international guy coming to the G League making waves, and he hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. He's averaging 16, but he got 45 minutes in this one particular game where he had all of these steals. So when given the opportunity, he was able to turn things around and showcase, yeah, I might not get as many minutes, but when I do, I can make a lot of impact.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be in the line for more minutes after a performance like that. But lastly, guys, for Around the G, we got to talk Bronny James. He's making some news. The South Bay Lakers guard posted a new career high in a win against the San Diego Clippers. Bronny dropped a career high 16 points and grabbed a career high 4 rebounds. Now, CJ, this is definitely a step in the right direction for him. From an adjustment improvement standpoint, what did you see from Bronny this go around? That's good news for Lakers fans.
Just attacking the basket, playing with confidence, playing like he wants to be there. And like I said, I've been a big fan of Bronny James, with just how hard does he want to carve his own lane and really just earn his playing time and earn all the publicity that's coming with it. So he's getting better, and I think we're going to continue to see stats like this as the season goes along.
Okay, yeah, so attack mode is critical for him. Gianna, how would you grade Bronny in his time thus far in the G?
You know, I don't know if it's fair to grade him per se, A, B, or C, or whatever we're going to give him yet, because he's only played 3 games. Now, when we look at the stats, he's only shooting 29% from the field, 0% from the three. So those aren't great statistical numbers. But when you're only given 3 games in the G and you're going up and down so much, you really don't have time to gather your footing. So I think, just like CJ said, we're going to see him a lot more in the G League. I think we'll have a better sample size. But this was really the first flash, I think, that we've seen of what he can do.
All right, good stuff there. All right, we're just getting started here on NBA G League Takeover. Next up, we're talking with the big man from Duke. You all remember him, Jahlil Okafor, now crushing it for the Indiana Mad Ants. Our insider, Gianna Hearn, has the interview after the break.
This is NBA G League Takeover, sponsored by Kumho Tire.
Welcome to the NBA G League Takeover, presented by Kumho Tire. It's your girl Gianna Hearn here with Jahlil Okafor from the Mad Ants. Great to have you on the show.
Great to be here. Thank you.
I've been trying to get you all season because, I mean, you're one of our dominant big men, so I was like, we got to get him on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so back in the G, this is your second stint. I covered you actually from afar, remotely, when you were in Mexico City playing for the Capitanes, and now here in Indiana. What are the feelings like when you're coming back to the G League for the second time? I know you had mentioned the first time that, you didn't really understand how it all worked. You go to showcase. We'll talk about that a little later. But how are you feeling second go around?
I'm feeling really good. I'm healthy for one, so very happy about that. And the experience has been great. This time's a little different than my first time because I'm with the Mad Ants and they're affiliated with the NBA team. And I'm with the first class organization like the Pacers. So it benefits me and the rest of the guys on the Mad Ants having them affiliated with them because we have access to their facilities and everything like that. So it's been an awesome experience for me.
Yeah, that's very underrated for people that don't know. When you're with a parent club and a G League team that's right in the same building, similar to LA, a lot of teams are doing it now. It's really helpful for the players and for the team to kind of keep an eye on who they might want to have call-ups. But you mentioned you're healthy. So let's talk about what happened when you were back in the G and with Mexico City. You actually tore your Achilles in Winter Showcase, which has got to be a heartbreaker. I know you've spoken a little bit about it. What was going on through your mind when that happened?
I tore my Achilles the first game at the showcase, and just a lot of negative thoughts. Just of course, the first initially was like, why me? Why is this happening right now? And then once I got over that, it was pretty much trying to get back to work, trying to figure out the best way to recover, the fastest and the best way. And it was a long process, but yeah, I'm healthy now, and I'm happy to be back on the court.
I know when you were not playing in the NBA, you mentioned how you kind of lost the love of the game. You went and played in China and you got it back. What was it about your time in China that reignited your passion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I lost the love for the NBA game. I didn't want to really be affiliated with the NBA or even just watch the NBA. I didn't enjoy watching it. But when I went to China, I just kind of missed home. I missed the NBA. I missed watching, some of the guys that I was friends with. And honestly, I started watching Boston Celtics games. That was the team that kind of got me into watching the NBA games again, watching Jason play and their amazing team that they have. That was kind of what triggered me to watch NBA games again.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you love the game. It frustrates you sometimes, but you take some time away and you look at it from a distance and you're kind of like, yeah, that's why I like the game.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously, you're trying to get back into the NBA full time. You said you're healthy. What's it been like getting back from the Achilles? Was it difficult? I mean, I feel like a lot of time athletes have these injuries. We're like, oh, he's out, he's back. But we don't talk about what happened in between. So tell us the in between.
Yeah, it was a long process. I think it took me 10 months to get back playing on the court. And I went to go play in Spain. And the team that I signed with, they pretty much knew that I was still recovering. So they allowed me to be in a team environment as well as continue to rehab. So it worked out perfectly for me. And I was on the court playing within 11 months with them. Like 11 months since I had the surgery, I was on the court playing. And I definitely didn't feel 100% by any means. That took probably it's like close to 16 months before I actually felt like I was 100%.
That's a good situation to find a team that's willing to work through your injuries, especially overseas. Because, I've heard a lot of stuff about going overseas. It can be really cutthroat. So found yourself in a good situation. And now you're on the court. What's it feeling like?
I feel 100% now. Yeah, this is my second season playing after having the Achilles injury. So yeah, I feel great now.
You know, one thing I want to touch on, you mentioned the mental aspect of it. What keeps you mentally encouraged when you have those dark thoughts, dark days, you're really just trying to push through it all? What helps you?
One thing that I thought about was just how much work I've put in up to this point. So just knowing that how much work I put into this point, it just didn't make any sense to just give up now. So for me, it was just to go even harder. And yeah, that was my mindset.
So at the Mad Ants right now, you've had 11 games and you've had 6 20-plus point games. How do you feel about your performance so far?
My performance has been solid. I definitely think that I can play better and I will play better. I think there's a lot more for me to improve on, as well as the team. But overall, I think I'm happy with it. I feel like I'm getting better each game.
When you talk about what you can improve upon, you know, I'm looking at your field goal percentage, shooting really well. 3-point percentage, is that one of the areas you're focused on?
That is one of the things coming in this season that I wanted to shoot more threes. Definitely not making that the focal point of what I do, but more so if I'm open, I'm going to shoot it. It is something that I work on. So that's definitely something that I want to improve.
We know you're more of a traditional big. What type of NBA system do you think you would fit best in?
I think any system that needs somebody to be a focal point, that needs somebody to put the ball in the hole. I don't think one person can stop me. So I feel like that's an advantage, and I'm a willing passer. So I feel like I can do a lot of good things on the offensive end. And defensively, I just have a lot of experience and a lot of years. So I'm able to put myself in the right situation.
All right, great stuff there, G. Phenomenal interview. A couple things. First of all, Big Ja, he looks good. I mean, when he played for the Sixers, he wasn't that cut. The arms, he looks good. So definitely good shape, especially coming off that Achilles. But as we're following up on that last question there, what type of system he would work best in? This is a guy who was traditionally an old type big, a back to the basket kind of guy, and the league kind of evolved when he was drafted after the fact. So what type of system do you think he would look good in really in the NBA in the next level? He says anyone. What do you think?
I think I might want to see him with the Grizzlies because we've seen Steven Adams, we've seen big-time bigs. And when you have someone as flashy as Jamarion flying around, you can really be dominant in the paint. And, you know, you don't have to space the floor. You don't have to go that far out because Jahlil, he said it himself. Yeah, he's trying to improve his three-point shooting, but that is just not what he does. And he wants to showcase what he does do is going to be applicable still in the NBA.
Right. It's a good point. Jaren Jackson, the guy with the Grizz, like he can spread the floor, he can space, he can shoot the three. So having a guy like him to work around would be good. All right, let's talk about another big, the tallest player in the G League, Jamarion Sharp of the Texas Legends. G, this guy stands at 7 feet, 5 inches, and you guessed it, he shoots. He's blocking shots really at an incredible rate. Sharp is averaging 3 blocks per game despite coming off the bench. Just the other night, Sharp posted a 12-rebound, 7-block night off the bench, and the 7'5" center moves well for his height. So, Gianna, what's the ceiling look like for a guy like Sharp? And you got to have a pretty big ceiling if you're 7'5", right?
Yeah, the ceiling could be high for maybe just like Jahlil as his three-point shot. But I just covered him in a Mexico City game when they were visiting in Mexico City, and no one was going inside the paint. Nobody wanted to go up against him. He had the most rebounds of the game. He had the most blocks of the game. It was just a Sharp show. Like, it was too much for any other team to go up against. But what's interesting to me is he's not that dominant in weight.
Right.
So I think when you go up against Jahlil Okafor, we're going to see a little bit of challenge towards him. So I'm waiting for something like that for him to show us what can he really do.
Yo, what's with these young guys? Wemby, Taco Fall, all these guys, they gotta eat some stuff and put some stuff on that frame, but 7 blocks off the bench, that's a good look. All right, so G, when we return, we're highlighting the G League alums who are shining at the next level. Now in the NBA is next.
This is NBA G League Takeover, sponsored by Kumho Tire.
All right, welcome back. Mike Davis here with 10-year NBA vet CJ Watson. So it's time for Now in the NBA. Let's talk about some of the former G League guys that are making noise in the association. So CJ, let's get to this first. Johnathan Mogbo with the Golden State Warriors. Feels like this dude has been in the NBA for forever, but he's only 22 years old and still growing in his fourth season. So former 7th overall NBA draft pick. He had a career night the other night with 33 points against his former G League Ignite teammate Jalen Green with the Rockets. So CJ, what do you think Mogbo has shown and showcased over this season that he's, demonstrating some growth in his game?
I mean, obviously we know he's super athletic. His playmaking skills are, I think, growing. I think with guys like Steph and Draymond and guys and Steve Kerr who have championship experience, he's getting to learn to be a leader. He's definitely improving on his 3-ball, and I think that's the biggest thing that they want to see from him, going forward.
It's interesting because, guys with that much athleticism, and that's the narrative around them, it's hard for them, it seems like, to develop other aspects of their game. Even a guy like Vince Carter, he didn't develop the 3-point shot until he couldn't even dunk anymore. So how does a Kuminga start to kind of, develop those things and focus on those things when he still has so much high-level athleticism?
Yeah, I think just letting the game come to him. I think you see in some of these highlights that he's just making plays, just letting the game come to him, not being super aggressive, just taking what the defense is giving him and being aggressive in transition like that. So I definitely think he has the capability of doing all these things and making plays and just using his athleticism, over smaller guards.
All right, good showing for him. Let's transition now. We've heard about the Bronny effect. Well, let's talk about the Yuki effect. Yuki Kawamura is quickly becoming a fan favorite across the NBA and the G League. The 5'8" guard from Japan is leading the G League in assists per game with 11.8 assists per game with the Memphis Hustle. But check this out, CJ, because Yuki hit one from deep for the Grizzlies. It was a pretty great looking shot. Look at this, a crossover and a step back from downtown. Boom. Fans in DC were actually chanting, "We want Yuki." Even the opposing fans love this guy, CJ. So here's my question for you. What's the potential of a guy look like for someone who's 5'8"? Is he grabbing a cup of coffee in the NBA, or can he really build a career in the league?
I mean, I think he can. Obviously, everyone's going to look at his height and say, you're too small, and especially on the defensive end. But if you can shoot the ball like that and make plays and keep your team in the winning column, I think you definitely have a spot in the league. And definitely with the crowd is there for you, they're always going to be backing you. People are going to come and watch that. So I definitely think he's a fan favorite right now.
There you go, Yuki. All right, last thing here, CJ. This week the NBA Cup kicks off here in Vegas. It's a great example of how the league has grown and implemented some ideas that were first developed in the G League. So the G League's Winter Showcase, that annual in-season scouting event, was actually in many ways the first iteration of the in-season tournament, or the NBA's now NBA Cup. So how cool is it to see ideas that have spawned from the G League now making their way to the league and the NBA and the association?
It's very cool. I think things started at the lower level and obviously worked their way up. So it's definitely cool to see the NBA taking that to effect. And I think it's going to be, something that's going to continue to grow and get better year after year. And I love to see it.
All right, we may even see one day down the road some of the heave rule or some of those other elements into the game creeping their way into the NBA as well. After the break, G is selecting her G of the week, and it's a special one this week. Stick around.
This is NBA G League Takeover, sponsored by Kumho Tire.
Listen up, everybody. Shaq here. Now begins another season of the G League premier docuseries, The Break, and the storylines just keep getting better. First up, we have Mac McClung, the G's reigning MVP and back-to-back NBA slam dunk champ. Mac finds himself in Orlando, just like the big fella once upon a time, where he's on a two-way contract with the Orlando Magic. Next, we'll head to Mexico City, home of the Capitanes, to follow Dink Pate on his path to the draft. And then we've got the Memphis Hustle rookie, Armando Bacot. Armando has become a household name during his college career, but after going undrafted, the big man has an even bigger chip on his shoulder as he chases every G Leaguer's dream, a call up to the NBA. 3 players, 6 episodes, 1 exciting season ahead. It's time for season 3 of The Break, presented by The General.
I'm hyped. Shaq has the greatest voice. I feel bad that I even got to put my voice out there now and talk a little bit. All right, thank you, Shaq, for that. Season 3 of The Break premieres December 16th, narrated by the great Shaq. Fans can find all episodes of The Break on G League YouTube channel, the G League app, and Tubi and Roku. All right, so in the world of sports, there has been a long history of ultra popular celebrations, from LeBron's silencer to the gritty made famous by Justin Jefferson with the Vikings, and even Dikembe Mutombo's finger wag. But now we have whatever this is from the Wizards' Jordan Poole. Take a look.
Points in the first, 16 in the second, 11 here in the third. 14 in the third quarter.
Are you kidding me?
Jordan Poole, do your
All right, well, what is that? I mean, is his game stinky? Does it smell? Does it smell in a good way? Is he drowning the Nuggets in a pool party? What is going on? But whatever it is, Jordan Poole broke this out during a 39-point performance against the Nuggets. And when you're balling like that, I guess you can really do whatever you want. Who cares about the celebration? That night, though, the Wizards also broke the league's longest losing streak with a 122-113 win over the Nuggets. But guys, not even Superman can be at two places at once. But rookie Johnathan Mogbo played in the G League and the NBA on the same day. Sounds like a G of the week to me. Let's learn some more about this, G.
Yeah, of course. When you're going to do that, you're going to be the G of the week, so that's why I have dubbed him with the honor. At 11 a.m., he played with the Raptors 905 in the G League. He had 9 points in 13 minutes, and then that same night, he played for the Raptors' big team, 17 points, 22 minutes. He was off the bench, the 31st pick in the recent draft. This man is unbelievable. I mean, because one, he's an assignment player. This was his debut in the G League, and he came out showcasing why he's been staying up in the NBA so long. At the beginning, when he was first drafted, people thought he would spend a lot of time in the G, get some rest, but due to injuries, he's had much time in the NBA, and the Raptors are looking at him, and now he's a backup big. So this has been someone that has really shown out. First time in the G League, I'm going to give him his first honors as G of the week.
Hey, great honor there. Pulling double duty. You got to love it. We're pulling triple duty here. We got to love every time you're hanging out with us for NBA G League Takeover. For Gianna Hearn, CJ Watson, I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next time here on NBA G League Takeover.